He walked into that nursing home with his usual calm confidence, ready to make another generous donation. Cameras flashed, reporters smiled, and staff lined up to thank him. But then his eyes caught someone. An old woman, frail, sitting quietly by the window humming a tune he hadn't heard in 3 decades. His chest tightened. That melody, it was the same lullaby that once calmed him as a child. The room faded and his world stopped. Because in that moment, the millionaire everyone admired just realized the woman who once saved him from the streets had been lost and forgotten for 30 years. His mother. Michael Davis wasn't born into wealth. He was born into struggle, a small apartment in the heart of Chicago's South Side, where crime was normal and hope was rare. His earliest memories weren't of toys or laughter, but of hunger and the sound of his mother, Ruth, whispering prayers every night that her little boy would have a better life. Ruth was a nurse's aide, barely earning enough to survive, but she made sure Michael never went to bed cold or unloved. She was his entire world until one tragic day when a fire broke out in their building. Neighbors took Michael for safety in the chaos. Hours later, Ruth never came back. The authorities found no record of her after that night. A frightened 7-year-old boy entered foster care, bouncing from one home to another. But Michael was different, determined, gifted, and fueled by the memory of his mother's sacrifices. Years passed, and his drive turned into success. By 35, Michael was a millionaire entrepreneur known for donating to orphanages, hospitals, and nursing homes, never forgetting where he came from. What he didn't know was that his latest act of kindness would lead him straight back to the woman who made him who he was. It was a gray Thursday morning when Michael's foundation scheduled a visit to a struggling nursing home on the outskirts of the city. The place was old, with paint peeling from the walls, and quiet except for the soft hum of medical machines. He was there to donate $500,000 to renovate the facility. As he walked through the corridors with his assistant, he couldn't help noticing the lonely eyes of the residents. One of the nurses mentioned how understaffed they were and how many residents had no family to visit. That struck him, the idea of being forgotten by the world. He smiled politely and entered the recreation hall. Cameras followed. He shook hands, gave speeches, and posed for pictures. But then something changed. While thanking the staff, he heard a soft humming sound, faint but familiar. His heart skipped. He turned toward the corner of the room. There she was. A frail black woman sat in a wheelchair humming a lullaby, the same one his mother used to sing. For a moment, he thought his mind was playing tricks on him. He froze. Slowly, he walked toward her. Her name tag read Ruth M. He whispered, "Excuse me, ma'am, what's your full name?" The woman looked up, her cloudy eyes widening. Ruth Davis," she replied weakly. The name hit him like lightning. His world spun. He knelt beside her. "Ruth Davis, did you ever have a son named Michael?" Her trembling hands rose to his face, tracing the outline of his jaw, her eyes welling up. "Michael," she said, her voice breaking. "My baby, they told me you died." The cameras stopped rolling. The staff went silent. Michael's assistant stepped back, realizing the present wasn't a publicity moment, it was a miracle. Tears streamed down Michael's face as he clutched his mother's hand. The woman he believed had vanished forever was actually just miles away, living alone, forgotten, and trapped in a system that never cared enough to look. Ruth had survived the fire but suffered a head injury that erased parts of her memory. Without ID, she'd been listed as unidentified and placed into the care of the state. Over the years, the world moved on, and she simply became another forgotten name in a crowded home. Michael felt a storm inside him, guilt for not finding her sooner, rage at the neglect she'd endured, and deep gratitude that fate had brought them together again. "I looked for you," he cried. "All my life I searched. I built everything hoping one day you'd see I made it because of you." Ruth smiled weakly, her eyes glistening. "You found me, baby. That's all that matters." The staff, many of them moved to tears, gathered quietly around. What had started as a charity visit turned into a living testimony of love, resilience, and the silent pain of forgotten lives. After that day, Michael refused to let his mother spend another night in that nursing home. He took her to his mansion, where he personally oversaw her care. News outlets tried to chase the story, but he declined every interview. "This isn't for headlines," he told his assistant. "This is family." Over the months, Ruth's health slowly improved. She laughed again, told him stories from his childhood, and even helped him start a new charity, the Ruth Foundation, dedicated to reuniting lost families and improving conditions in nursing homes nationwide. Michael's donations increased, but his focus changed. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about restoring dignity to those society had forgotten. Ruth passed away peacefully 2 years later, holding her son's hand, surrounded by love. At her funeral, Michael whispered, "She found me once when I was lost in life, and I found her when the world forgot." The story of Michael and Ruth became a quiet reminder that compassion is stronger than wealth, and love can survive even the cruelest separation.